Go.
Okay. So we're going to talk now about energy and human use of energy. Presently, we're getting most of our energy from coal, oil, and like methane gas and nuclear, but we're going to shift to renewables of wind, solar, hydropower, as well as biofuels. The best energy option is to use low cost and low carbon sources of energy. Presently, we get 85% of the energy from the fossil fuels of coal, oil, and gas, but these yellow bars indicate how much carbon dioxide comes from those, and it's very high. Only 5% of the energy presently comes from the renewable energy, but this is very cheap for the biomass, hydro, and wind, a little more expensive for solar, but I'm going to talk about that being at parity now. But notice the CO2, very low for all of these. That's the kind of energy we need. So now, this is the news. In 2016, carbon energy becomes, clean energy becomes cheaper than the carbon-based energy. And so we will shift towards the renewable energy. However, it's happening too slowly. Renewable energy means solar, wind, hydro, and biofuels, as well as geothermal. Wind generation is growing so fast in Oregon, Eastern Oregon, but also out on the Great Plains, that over 25% per year of growth is happening, and if we maintain that, but then by 2025, we'll have half of our energy from wind. So this will be one of the major sources of fuel of energy in the future. But I think that really nuclear energy is what we need. And by that I mean solar nuclear energy. This is, in fact, a large hydrogen explosion going off 93 million miles away, providing all the energy that we need for Earth. Solar energy as PV or photovoltaic is a win-win because it's free. The problem is that since it shines only in the daytime, then we'll need to store energy during the day for use in the evening when it gets dark. Looking at the price of energy from solar panels, you can see that it was over $100 per solar panel watt, but that has come down by 2016 to under 60 cents. And as of 2005, solar energy really took off as the price came down to that key threshold. Here you can see that the price of solar has come down to essentially the same price as retail electricity, which this means that this is price parity of solar with fossil fuel energy. So this transition is going to happen, yes, but it's happening much too slowly in order to avoid going past that invisible point of no return, as I'll explain. There's inertia in the economy and there's lag in the melting to make the effects of the warming visible. So people cannot respond many times till they see the effects. So really what this means, price parity means that peak oil is here, and this really changes everything. What we're seeing is the Saudi oil bubble is making other energy, the oil and gas energy, prohibitively expensive. And so this Saudi oil bubble is blowing up. So now I'm going to talk about peak oil and divestment from fossil fuels and investment in new energy. We need to divest from the petrochemicals to avoid stranded assets. I'll talk about that. And we're going to go through energy wars because fossil fuel companies are not going to just give up, So the energy wars will possibly delay climate action to past the point of no return. That would be a disaster. So clean energy business opportunity is actually happening right now, and it happens once in a civilization. This is a game changer for our civilization. The warming is happening now, but we can't think of this as something that's happening in the future. It's not someday I'll get solar cells, someday I'll get a car with a battery. No, someday I'll is not that mythical place in the future. It's happening right now. And so we need to fight for our children and for our planet right now. Sheikh Amani, the former oil minister of Saudi Arabia, said something very profound. He said, the Stone Age didn't end for a lack of stone. The Stone Age did not end for a lack of stone. And the oil age will end long before the world runs out of oil. There'll be a huge amount of oil and no buyers. Oil will be left in the ground because it'll be worthless. This is a perfect image for stranded assets. Think of that, a huge oil tanker stranded in the middle of the Arabian desert. This means that if you want to survive, you're going to have to divest from fossil fuels. Here's another image that Alberta tar sands, the largest industrial operation in the world, and these are stranded assets because you can't run this operation profitably anymore with the oils selling off their oil bubbles.